when it comes to learning. You know, yeah. So today's class, okay, Kendi, Oladi wants to say something. That's quick. Oladi, you want to say something? You're losing opinion.
Yeah, good evening. Can you hear me?
Yeah, sure. Fine.
Sorry, I wanted to ask. After trying the assignment, I discovered that it was only giving me for example, sales category.
Yeah,
It's giving me, it's only giving me after selecting the category and also the sales. Instead of giving me the total sales, it's giving me just the count number.
yeah.
So that count of sales. When after I check another sheet somewhere, it's giving me the actual data. The one you said is giving me just like the count.
Okay, I get what you are saying, Moladele. So anytime it gives you counts, for example, you have to switch the pivot, and I'll show you that. Just pay attention in this class, right? I'll show you that how you switch the counts to some or any other indicator you want to use. But meanwhile, I also like you to check. I saw your assignment which you tried, but actually still want you to check the Excel file I sent to the group today, where I actually give an explanation on how you can perfectly go through the cleaning, right? And I'll still drop a video. I'll drop a video specially concerning that explanation again tomorrow. But before that, I still want us to go through that explanation and try it on our own because if I send a video, it might just be people might just be doing exactly what because I want everybody to really think that's one of the purpose.
Hello, sorry.
Yeah,
Did you get my question?
yeah, I got a question.
Sorry, I had internet failure. I just
Okay,
got
okay,
back.
okay,
Sorry.
okay. So I got a question. I was like, anytime it gives a count figure, like in your own sum, it's meant to sum a count, right? You click on that count and you switch it. But don't worry, I'll show you um during this class. You get. But I was adding something. I was saying something in addition that I sent an Excel file. I sent an Excel file to the group this afternoon, and also it's like so that Excel file is showing like an in-depth. Actually, give I gave a step-by-step explanation on how to clean uh, data, right? So I want us to try that. I'll still send the YouTube video that I actually explains those things to, right? But I actually want you guys to try that on your own and master the data cleaning art before I actually send the video, right? So that I don't want to send a video first for that aspect, so that people will not be copying and pasting one of like the idea the same idea. I want actually want everybody to follow that process. It's um like a well you know established process. Yeah. So one thing we're going to be doing today in today's class is number one the pivot, right? Actually made a video on pivot. I don't know if you guys watched that. I don't know if you watched that. If you watched that, just I sent the video like last week, so the last week or a few days ago. Let me say a few days ago. If you watch that video, can you just react? Where I explained from pivot to slicers to dashboard. I don't know if you saw the video. React. Can you react if you saw that video? Nobody saw it. I sent it was part of our recording for the week, but whether or not you saw the video, don't worry. Was still cool. And you know, so in today's class, I'll be moving from the clean data already. Meanwhile, let me just switch to sharing my screen first. So I'll just show you something and you know, um, yeah. So if you check, I'll not be dwelling on this. Yeah. Meanwhile, I'll make a special explanatory video on this. But we actually want to try this on your part in terms of data cleaning, right? So let me just quickly show you one or two things. So this one made in terms of explanation. How to clean. Okay, I need to add someone to the call quickly. Right. So how to clean this data step by step. Actually give a step by step way to actually clean the data, right? And all the problems in the data, right, and the steps to clean it. And in this approach, I really banged on formulas, right? Because most times if you use finds and replace, you might still have some issues, right? They want to ensure that all issues are eliminated, and to be on the proper and safer side, you have to use the formulas. Also, most of them even follow to last class. For example, Mola Daily, right? You even observe that after creating your pivot, you see something like blank. Why? Because all those blanks should have been replaced with something. And if you check this Excel file, I also explain those things, right? So all those blanks should have been replaced with unknown, right? Because there were some unknown. Let me show you. Come in. I sent this. What I'm showing you already. I sent to the group already. Okay. Okay. The few rows has no region or state at all, and there's no reliable data. So select the blanks, go to home, find select. It's actually give you very detailed, right? Find select, go to special blanks with just that column selected. Type or no, right? So all those blanks, it will be so instead of like in the pivots now, instead of we showing blank, it will be showing unknown. Do you get the idea now? So that's just the whole vibe and so other fixings, right? I give the step by step way to actually fix it, and I just hope you get it from there. But if there's one or two things that someone is not getting, I'll still send you video on this cleaning aspect today. Yeah, but the first thing I want to do today, yeah, this is the raw data, you know, this is the raw data, this is the clean data, right? So this is the clean data. So one thing is for us to do is to now create a new tab for pivot, and on the group already gave gave the pivot that we'll be creating, right? And that's one thing about pivot table is that it is just a summary, right? It's a summary of everything would like a particular data. You want to summarize it. We have a particular data set. We also create a particular summary of that data set. That's just like the layman purpose of a pivot table, right? So, Shiva, you want to say something? Okay, I think you need to mute your mic, Favor. So, as I was saying, Favor, you need to mute your mic. Okay, thank you. So, as I was saying, right, so I was just saying the primary purpose of a pivot table is to summarize your data set, right, into very and I said something. I said, for example, this data set, onto this clean data, right? I just said, okay, for you to just easily know the necessary key performance indicators, one, the necessary chart you need to do, and is the chart that I want to do that would actually determine the pivot, because pivot is actually like a back end basically that we want to link our slicer and our charts to, right? So the chart we want to create, the KPIs we want to analyze would actually like determine the pivot we'll be working on. Are we together now? So yesterday I said, okay, this is an AI generation. If you highlight this, if you highlight this header, copy it, go and paste it on ChatGPT and ask it that, okay, give me the KPIs and um, charts that are very important based on this. That's why I sent to the group this afternoon. I said, okay, four major KPI cards. I think everybody saw that on the group, right? Four major KPI cards, and I said, number one, total sales. Number two, total unit sold. Number three, total orders, and number four, average discount. Right. So these are the four major KPI cards we actually have based on this. Um, they are just like the major indicators. That's many of KPI, key performance indicators. We want to know the major things we major things based on this particular data set. Are we together now? So and according to the same after giving AI the headings, right. So we know that okay, we need to actually have four charts. Yeah, there are four important charts that can come out of this. Number one, sales trend over time. Number two, sales by category. Number three, sales by region. Number four, top 10 products by sales. Are we together now? So that's the four things we need to work on, and that means we'll be having four pivots. So we're having sales trend over time. Then we need to actually have the month and the sum of sales to know the sales trend over time. Right. So we want to know the sales for each month. That's just the meaning, literal terms now. Let me check if there's someone I want to join. Okay. Yeah. So I know I told you something about pivot already. Whether or not you have seen the pivot video I dropped on the group earlier last week, right? Pivot is simple, right? This is your clean data. If you press Control A to automatically highlight everything, right? It's going to highlight it. But depending on your um, device or anything, it might actually highlight, then come highlight all these other blank cells, and with that when you create your pivot it might be showing blank, right? So to avoid stories like that you can still manually just highlight your cells normally like this also, right? So that's if when I press Ctrl A now you can see my own automatically highlighted only the data I want to the only when we have the data, right? But your own might not work like that, depending on the type of Excel you are using, or yeah. So, but either ways, we highlighted our data now. So the first thing is, what we set our pivot, and I think I told someone she also submitted her assignment. Um, and I said something profound. I said, okay, ensure that all your pivots, are in one sheet, right? You don't need to have different pivots in different sheets and all that, right? So one thing about pivot is the same step. Now, the first thing I want to calculate is the that's why it's sent to the group. The first thing is I'm coming. Yeah, sales spread over time, right? So if you click on insert, right? There's actually recommended pivots here, right? Excel, the one thing about Excel can also see through your data. It has read through your data and it has recommended the pivot that it feels like you might want to do. So imagine you automatically click on these pivots now, it will just create the pivot for you. But no, we're not using recommended. We need to create our pivot by ourselves, right? So insert pivot table, right? And existing worksheet. We're not creating a pivot on a new worksheet, existing worksheet. And what is the location? You know, you click on this location. We are coming here to the pivot, right? And let's create our first pivot here in A2. Right. The reason why I actually love leaving one row space before a pivot is that so I can actually write the name of the pivot on top to just actually make it easily readable for you know you or anybody that's going to be having access to the worksheet. Okay, so search for over time. sales trend over time. So you're actually dealing with sales over time. That's you're dealing with months, right? And by now you should understand the difference between a row and a column. So if you're actually dealing with sales over the month, then you should actually know that the sales will be the value, while the months will be the row, right? So because it's the um months you're going to have here, and you're going to be having the value of the month. You get what I'm saying? The value of the month would also be at the front. That means the month is actually the row, while the sales is actually the year now. So let's move. So we're having months, right? So this is the other date, right? So automatically Excel should actually convert it to month. Let's see. You can see that. So it automatically just pick that we want to summarize it into a month form, right? So now this is the other date, and what's the next thing here? And sales, right? Sales. Sales is the value, don't forget, right? So someone said something that, for example, if it's counting the sale, now this is sum of sale now. For example, now Ken Oladele said that his own is counting here. There is this arrow here on this sum of sales. As it was showing count, if you click on this arrow, you will see value field settings. Value field settings. Then you click on value field settings. Then you now see sum, count, average, max, mean, product, and etc. So you can, if it's on count already, then you click on sum. For example, let me click on count and press OK. You can see it's counting the sales. You can see it's counting the sales. But no, it's not counting it because I'm not counting sales. So at summing sales. So clicking on sum. Now we have our first pivot, right? So if you understand what I just did, now can you just react? Let me see. You guys are following. Yeah, you guys are following. Yeah. Okay, I'm glad Oladile also got it now. If you have questions, just unmute your mic and speak. Okay. Um, the same steps now. This is the first. That means I gave you guys four pivots. For example, I say we're going to be doing four charts. So now this one we have done it already now. So let's come and write the name. Can come and write the name on the pivot to just make it easily readable, right? Um, easily readable, make it easily readable, and try and adjust the width and just name this. There's margin and center because we need to just margin and center is just to allow that to just remove this space, this line between two of them. You get so you can type easily in between, right? So sales trend over time. Sales trend over time.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, you can speak.
All right. Um, sorry, sir. Please, can you um show us again, like how you change the counts to some?
Okay, that's now. So if you click
Thanks.
on, yeah, if you click on, it's two ways. If you click on, even though if you click on this sum of sales, for example, now you can see you can just even easily change it here. Do you get? For example, if I change this one to count now, you can see it's counting it. If I double tap this, I can come and change it to sum. Do you even get? So it's just not it's not hard, right? It's not hard. And even from the pivots, you can also change it, right? Anyway, and that's what I did there. You can change it like this too. Right? Change it. Change it. So, another example again, we see what we are saying, right? So, these are our first pivot, right? So the next one is also talking about sales by region. Sales by region. Is this sales by region? Okay, sales by category. Sorry, sales by category. So let us put the pivot in this detail here. So what I'm going to do again, the clean data is even currently highlighted. I've not um come to press escape to remove the highlight from it, right? So it's currently highlighted again to just make it easy. Um, Come here, pivot table, existing worksheet. What is the location? We need to put it here. That's why I think all your pivots should be on the same sheet. So don't because pivot is a back end basically. It's like a back end that we want to use to ensure that our charts works dynamically, right? So one thing about the pivot is that once we are done with these pivots, we're going to connect our slicers with the pivot. We're going to also connect our KPI with the pivot, and everything will work like magic. That when we begin to switch our slicer or switch our timelines, which I'll still explain, everything will just work easily. So you get so I actually want you to take time to understand this backend, right? It is simple. Yeah. So yeah, click on this. So the next thing we are working on is according to what I sent to you group. I said sales by category. Right. So by actually doing sales by category, don't forget category will be the row, right? Because the value is the sales, right? So category will be in the row, right? Why um value will be the sales, right? So this sales by category, sales by category. So this is the second one already done. So you can see it's simple. Oh, sorry, I mistakenly clicked on this pivot to make it. This is made. Yeah. So can just adjust the width to just ensure what I'm writing is very clear. So sales by category, sales by category. We have this, right? So I want to just ensure everything is, yeah, central aligned. So actually just central aligned here. I just love everything being organized very well. Yeah. So sales by category is done already, right? What's the next thing? Sales by region. So the same way we did the sales by category, I'm gonna do the same approach we do the sales by region. Our clean data already is here. It's still highlighted because I didn't press the escape and I didn't click on any cell. If I click on one cell now it will check it will highlight. So I have to be doing that process over and over again, highlighting it. So since I'm creating the pivot repeated, I don't need to on highlight it, right? So click on insert, click on pivot table, existing worksheet, this is the location, right? So this is the location, this is the location, and it's just exact. And then clicking on this. So the next thing is sales by region. What's going to happen? Um, Region, right? Region will be the row, right? There's a region that is blank. So those regions that were blank in the data clean already, we already made all the blanks the word called unknown. Because of our chart, if we're actually dealing with so there are some missing regions. That's what I'm trying to say. There are some missing regions. So if we do not name them unknown in our chart, right, we'll be seeing something like blank, which is not um reasonable, right? But for this now, we know that there are some unknown regions, which is very cool, right? I'm very professional, right? So this is as I sales by region. This is the region. Where is the sales? Sales by region. So what's the last thing? But we all got into this place, right? We all got to this place. We can just react if you all got to this extent. Just kindly react. Let me see your following before we get to the last thing. If you are following to this point, like if you understand to this point, just react using you know
Sorry, sir. I
okay,
have a question, sir.
okay, no problem.
Yes, sir. All right. So you said, okay, to like create the second pivot in that same sheet, right? That since it is highlighted, we just go to insert, then click on existing sheet, right? Then we'll
Yes.
now click on this pivot location, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's just bringing out, it's just showing pivot, but yours was showing like the cell number. It was showing one number at the front of the pivot. Because me, um, I'm getting something like destination reference is not valid, and that was why I created multiple sheets for my assignments.
No, no. This is what you just need to do. You got this part of highlighting, right?
Yes, yes, I know.
Yeah. So it's just like we're inserting pivot table. Then it's going to show new worksheets, existing worksheets. This table range, it automatically, you don't need to press anything here. It's what you have highlighted automatically to show you. Do you get?
Okay. Yes,
And
sir.
when I click on location, then I'll now come to the pivot. Then I'll come and click somewhere inside the pivot. Come in. Okay.
Okay, you
Yeah,
click somewhere in the pivot.
I'll come and click like J2.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm just
So,
um,
because I want the pivot to actually be on that place. And then I can see
yeah,
that there is a sync in what I'm doing here. I want to determine where the pivot is. So, I come and click on J2, then I click on, you know,
okay,
yeah,
okay. Thank you, sir.
yeah. So, the last one is talking about top 10 product and sales, products, um, that was also products. What's products? Yeah, products. Yeah, so let's go there. Let me just show you this. Okay, so let us have these products and so yeah, I'll still show you in the next. Even it's gonna make more advanced, but I should want make this one as simple as possible first, so can get it here top 10, blah 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 blah. Let's do this first. So let's move with this. Then product by sales. Okay, other below you can speak.
Sorry, can I talk?
Yeah, sure, sure.
Yeah, I wanted to ask when you're doing this top 10 products, you can see it lists more than 10 products.
Yeah,
So I want to know how can we restrict it to, since we said top 10. So I was thinking maybe we just look at the list of 10 top 10 products below
yeah,
rather
we can.
than listing other
Yeah,
products.
yeah, we can.
Okay.
I'll still talk about that. So from this,
All
what we just do from this is to use a formula to pull up the first 10 based on. I'll still explain that. Yeah, I'll explain that. So So we are done with the pivots technically. Right? We are done with the pivots technically, and I want us to create another sheet for KPI because I want us to also have our KPIs, and we have our, and these things, we want to prepare our dashboard. That's the purpose. So we want to have another one for KPI.
Excuse me,
Okay,
sir.
yeah, talk on.
Um,
Yeah, do our
about
chat.
the
Yeah,
top 10. Can I speak?
yeah, sure, no,
Okay. About the top 10 products in the pivot table.
yeah,
When I was doing mine yesterday, I got it just like you did. I don't know how I'll get the top 10. So I now pressed this arrow in the row label and filtered it, and I got it.
okay, that was a very nice way to do that too. So it's two ways. So this is what you did. Coming. Yeah, that is,
Sorry, sir. I'm not seeing your screen.
yeah, you can see it. I'm coming. Okay, can I see it now?
No, I can't see it too. Okay, I'm seeing
Sorry,
it
your
now.
screen is showing. It's showing.
It's
Maybe
showing.
your own network.
Cookies are not too. Okay. So yeah, someone was saying something about clicking on the row label. Yeah, right.
Yes, yes.
So then the value filter, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Exactly.
Then
That's
I use
the top 10. Yeah,
top 10 at the
exactly.
bottom.
Yeah. So that's very amazing. So there are two ways to do that actually. But this is actually very simpler method. There are two ways. One of the ways to actually use a formula. It's just like what I explained in last um, class when I was talking about data clean, and I was like, you actually use um, you know, okay, we were talking about dates. I think I actually gave you guys some time to think about what we can do in the date. And someone said something interesting. Someone was like, we can use. I think that was Oladele that he said, and one other person that said that we can use can value the person. He said you can use the date, in the date tab, in data tab. I mean, using the date wizard. Basically, I was like, yeah, wow. And Steny, was talking about the fact of using the date value date function in Excel. It's amazing, right? Because there are two ways to also always do things. Talking about Excel, either you just use you know, a formula approach, or you can actually, there are so many ways you can do it. But as she said, right, this is very easy. Just come here, the value filter. And the way this thing works is it just works like, you know, when you are doing, how many of you remember conditional formatting? How many of you watched the video? Let me see. So it's not like as if I'm just sending video to the group and people are not watching. I don't know if you watched the video on conditional formatting. Can you react? Okay. Okay. So it just works that way. And conditional formatting, I explain the fact that you can do top 10, or top 10 and the 50. Something works like this. So you are doing top 10 here too. So just based on the filter. And it just works that way. And what else? Yeah, I think Kennedy Olade wants to speak. You raised up your hand. You can speak before I continue.
Sorry, that was previous hand raising. Sorry.
Okay, okay, no problem. But do you get what I just did now? In terms of just a simpler method for the top 10. Do you see that?
No, no.
Okay. So let me do it again. So just pay attention now.
All right.
Yeah. So now, this is more than 10 technically, right? The product by sales, right? So changing it to top 10 is just like we filtering it. I think I need to add someone to the call quickly. Person is on the call. So, as I was saying, this is more than 10, obviously, but I want to do the top 10, and I want to just do it easily. so we can easily filter it. Yesterday too, when I was talking about filtering, blah blah, I was trying like if you unfilter something, you won't see the thing, right? But and etc. So now, when we click on this filter button, right, we can filter the value. I know this filtering of value will be working in like the way your conditional formatting will react to, but this time around now, it's filtering the value that we have. So we're going to value filter, and we're going to top 10. Then we're going to just be seeing the top 10 in our pivot, and in that way we have the top 10, right? And there are other things too in the filter. You can see value between and a lot of other things like that. Hope you get that. So now,
Yes.
yeah. So let's talk about the KPI now. Let's talk about the KPI. So the KPI will also be on the dashboard technically. So we have to just create. Normally all these things we can just put everything in the pivot, right? Both the chat and the likes. But I just want to break it down so we can see it easily. Yeah, KPI means key performance indicator. Don't forget. And we don't calculate our KPIs from the cleans data. We calculate our KPIs from the pivots. Why? Because we need to still connect our pivot to you know our um I mean we need to connect the KPIs to pivot, so the slicers and everything because the slicer are going to be connected to the pivot. So we want to ensure that if we are making any change on the slicer, it should actually affect every other thing, right? And it will work like that. So, four major KPIs, as I said. Number one, total sales. So, also be explaining another thing also. Yeah, referencing, blah, blah. That's when we get to the dashboard part. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. So, now, total sales. How do we get the total sales? That one is very simple. And don't forget, you calculate your KPIs from your sorry, you calculate your KPI from your pivot, not from your normal data. Because if we are making a switch, we want to ensure that it affects Chege too. Just put that in mind. So equals to total sales is here already, right? Because of this is sales. This is sum of sales per region. You can see it's the same thing. So any of this is the total sales. In fact, this is the total sales. But this one, you already filter this one already. But this is the total sales, right? So click on this. So we have this, right? So this is the first KPI. Can name it like one KPI one. So number two, because we just need this for our dashboard creation, and you will see the reason why we need it as we progress. So after this, the next thing we'll do is our charts and slicers. So our total units sold here will be, so do we have our, so let me just list the four. So we'll see if we have currently for total orders on average discount. Normally we can just use formula to be doing total units sold and come here and just write equals to and just sum it. But no, we're not doing it like that. Why? Because we are creating a dashboard. Don't forget all these things I'm saying. We are creating a dashboard. So we're not just going to reference the normal data. Everything that we must be referencing should be a pivot table. Don't forget now. And according to this pivot now, you can see that we don't have total units sold. We didn't do anything on units sold here, right? We didn't do anything on units sold here. We didn't do anything on total orders. We didn't do anything on average discount. So we can just now for us to get the total units sold now, we can just do. maybe months now, yeah, and the total units sold. You can also do it like that, yeah. So just make everything based on month and the total units sold. So we're actually making a new pivot now. There's still space here. So we're actually just doing month and total units sold. Now we don't need this pivot we are creating now for a chart. We need this pivot we are creating for our KPI, because we actually need to reference our KPI from the pivot basically. Now, our data is highlighted already. So now units sold, they were coming here, and insert pivot table. Our existing worksheets were coming here, coming here. Let's have it here. So our units sold. So let's have our order date here, which is going to be months and units sold. Right. So from this now, we have our total units sold. Do you get now? These are our total units sold. So we reference this to the chart. There's references to the KPI, right? So don't forget that. And so for this, we're merging it, but we use another color. Oh yeah, because I want you to clearly see the difference easily. To just okay, so total units sold, total units sold, total units sold. And, that is the next color and the white text. So this total units sold. Next thing is total orders. Total orders. So since it's an order, right? So let's still create a pivot for that. But that will be count. Since it's an order, it's not like a value, right? So um, this is like the order ID. We count the orders from the order ID. So let's just do that for this. So pivot table, existing worksheets, and the pivot here. So, yeah, yeah. Okay. So let's go. So I can just the other dates here and the other ID dates. You can just um since this is why I'm actually doing it for month because our slicer, the slicer we'll be doing is going to be for a month slicer. So I wanted to work based on that easy. Yeah, so that's the logic behind what I'm doing. Okay, can see it's automatically counted it because it's an order ID. It's not like so it's counted the order IDs we have. So we merge and center here, and we just call this um, the total orders. Okay. I'm going to give an assignment on this. Apart from the general capstone project Excel, I'll give you guys because from tomorrow we're going to be entering SQL. Yeah, SQL. But I have a capstone project. I will send it in. It's gonna be like group. It's gonna be a group thing. You guys probably just present on Sunday. Yeah, but I'll just give another assignment on this dashboard. You guys can just play around with it anytime you are busy and just send it to me. So average discount. Average discount. So let's do that. um, for this claim data, insert, pivot, table, existing worksheet, family pivot here. So um, coming here, okay. So um, so this is the discount. Discount. Yeah, can see the discount is not showing. Can see discount is not showing average. I don't forget what I told you already. You come and switch it here. Value fit setting. Come and switch it here to average. You have you having the average here technically. So you having the discount. You come here. If I want to yeah. Now for you are just joining. This class is recorded. After this class, I'll upload this class YouTube video. I'll upload it and I'll share the link. See that's maybe I was very late. It actually worked. But one thing about the live class is that you can see, you can ask questions easily and all that. So people ask, they have some valid reasons that they could not attend, why they could not attend. So this is it. So now coming back to this card, this KPI card, now you can see that okay, the total unit so now can come and reference here and say and this one making it neat is that if I'm giving you this now, you can easily understand what I'm doing. You can see, you can easily understand. It will be neat, professional and all that. Yeah. So total orders, average discounts. So this is what we have technically. This is what we have technically. And yeah, if you want to use the decimal place, you come at it down here. Example. So you come at it down here. So I'm going to decimal place. Okay. Now, so we have our KPI code, we have our pivots already done. Now, maybe chat. Before I get to that, maybe chat. You know, um, according to this chart, we're going to still work on the charts, work on the sliders. Let's do sliders first. Close the chart first. Just show this. Okay, it does not matter anyone. Let's do the chart first. So the first chart is sales trend over time. Sales trend over time. Yeah, sales trend over time. Don't forget when you want to create your chart, when you are liking the values, ensure. I just want to join. Okay. 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 When you are highlighting the values, ensure that you don't highlight the total. You don't highlight the total. You don't need the total. Okay. And according to what I gave you on the group, if you're actually dealing with something over time, maybe months, you want to know your sales over the month or over the years, the best chart to use is the line chart. So if you highlight this and you click on recommended chart, you see this cluster after but no, there isn't a line chart. This is the proper chart. So this is line chart. We have different type of line chart. Don't worry, no, this is line chart. Yeah. So this is what we have. This is what we have. We really need to remove um this stuff and all that. Yeah, but don't worry. Just copy the. We'll come and be editing the chart here. Copy chart and paste it here, which is the first chart. Yeah. Click on this chart here and just press backspace to delete it. The next chart is the shows by category, which is bar chart. Is bar chart, okay. So this is a bar chart. Alright. So just copy, copy, yeah, back. So the next chart is sales by region, and we're using bar charts because we are trying to compare um stuffs, right? So we are doing comparison, we use bar charts. Technically we can use pie chart. So sales by region instead. One thing I really love is that about is there are so many charts you can see here. So many charts you can see here, but let's use this here. This is even a bar. This is a bar chart, and I love this. Since we have used the normal column bar chart for this, I want us to just use the horizontal one for this because one thing I really love about my dashboard is which is like the personal part is to ensure that we are not using the same chart. Maybe it's not be boring. So all things that we are doing, both these pivots, both these KPI, both this are just the back ends basically. We're even meant to hide the tabs after we are done here. No, no, don't worry, let's still continue. Tell me delete. But also go edit those charts to still edit them, still play with them and all that. Yeah. But the last one is top 10 product by sales. And don't forget what we did to the top 10 products. Don't forget what we did to them. The product, the normal way is that it will not filter it automatically. We have to click on this and click on value filter it. I explained that already. Now, so but this now we're creating charts on this top 10, right? And we're going to be using the horizontal bar charts, which is this. This is a column chart. This is vertical. So let us use the horizontal. So yeah, it can actually this I love this for top 10. It's very cool. So there are so many magics to perform on our chart. Yeah, we still copy our chart to our dashboard. And one thing is if you put one chart in two places and you connect it to the slides, right, it will work on the two charts. So you get so that's the way chart works. Very Let us name this chat quickly before we even start any paparazzi later when we put it on our dashboard. Yeah. Before any paparazzi, let us just name this chat first. When we bring chat to our dashboard, we'll do our design there and this is sales trend over time. Number one, sales trend. Oh, sales trend over time. Right. So this sales trend over time. What is this? These are sales by category. Uh, the third one is sales by region. Sales by region. I'm looking at assignment. I really want you guys to play. Just play it. Just play with it. Since you understand the logic, there's nothing you cannot do. What will just put the difference now will be your creativity level. And some of you are even naturally creative. Yeah, so we have our four charts now. Alright, let me see if we are still following. Kindly react if you are following. Let me see. Okay, just one person. I can only see one reaction. Let's see more. If you have questions, feel free to ask them for me. Okay, let me continue. Um, the next thing is for us to work on. Yeah, yeah. Can I say something about slicer? Don't let me forget. Now, what about the slicer is just to ensure that you can actually see only what you can only see what you are dealing with. Just very simple. That's like layman explanation. So let me just show what I mean to just make it more interesting. So if I click on the slicer, come and search for slicer in this box, yeah, or click on insert, right? Come and see insert, you see slicer here. So but I want my slicer for month. I want my slicer for month. This is how the regular slicer will look like. Now the interesting part is you click on January, you can see when it's showing only January in the can see it's showing only month. And if you filter it, it's showing everything. Because like, we made the slicer on only this one. Now you can see it, but it's not affecting all this one. Now, what of the furniture? The furniture that we add here, right? We have furniture here, but there was you know, the reflection of the month did not affect the furniture, did not affect even these ones here and all that. Yeah. So we also need to work on that. So this is, let me delete this again. Let me show you again. So when I keep clicking on this video and starting to my slides are, I'll send my slides as okay. So simple as that. So I think generation social. I'm updating everything is now showing. So yeah, so this slides are putting it on our, and one beautiful thing about this slides is that it will affect our chat. Let me come and show you. If I click on only January, if I come and see this chat here, this chat is showing only January, this particular chat. So say that sorry about that. So many January. And can multi select. Let's say I did January, February, and March. Come here, come and see the chart. It's gonna just be showing January, February, and March. So you can see, and even this KPI, it will affect it to be showing only. And you can see this value now. Let me come and add April to it. You see that this value to would have changed. You can see it affected the KPI. But now we also want it to affect this other chart. We want it to affect everything. That means we're actually changing something for a particular month. We want it to affect every all the whole pivot, all the whole because yeah, because if we're actually doing January sales and it is displaying only January, um it's working on only one chart is wrong. Why? Because even in this is sum of sales, it still reflects month. I don't know if you get what I'm saying. It still reflects month, so it can't just be done that way and we say we'll just sideline. Um, so what we just need to do is very simple. Click on, just right click on the slicer. Right. This slicer set in case you want to do something for example. Don't worry about that yet. So right click on this, you will see report connections, right? You see report connections. So come and click on all the pivots. Come and click on all the pivots like this. So okay. Now it works like magic now. So if I'm clicking on January, right? Okay, that means if I'm on selecting everything, you can see like I'm on 15. So if I click on only January, sorry, I need to click, move the multi select. So if I click on only January, you can see everything. Can you see January? This should only January, and it also affects. The funny thing is going to also affect even all this. But so this furniture now, even since it's even per category, it will be showing it for only January. That's if I multi-select here and I click January and February. It will, can you see it's affecting this sum of sale, it's affecting the region, it's affecting the product by sales, it's affecting everything. And that way now.
Excuse me, sir.
Okay,
Please, can you do it again, please?
okay. So
Thank you.
yeah, thank you. So what I did basically, let me just do it again. Is if I delete my slicer, so if I'm working with this like I say insert, if I click on insert, right, just what I did, you see slicer here. So I want to insert my slicer for months. So month slicer. Yeah, so I'm gonna have this. But now, since I know I did the slicer and only this sales trend over time, it will just be affecting this sales trend over time. And even don't forget to our charts were made from the pivot. Our KPI were made from the pivot. Then my slicer was made from the pivot. Don't forget those things. These are fundamental things you need to check it. So you're not going to be referencing your KPI from the normal clean data and be wondering why your slicer is not reflecting on on the other things.
Sorry, I wanted to ask that what's the essence of the slicer?
Exactly. So
So
we are creating a dashboard very soon. And a dashboard is just like a summary of everything we have now, right? Both the charts, both the KPIs and all that. Okay, and I'll show you an example of what we want to do very soon, right? Before we even create it. Do you get what I'm saying now? So that's the purpose of all these things. So all these things we are doing, they're like back ends to what we actually want to do. Do you get what I'm saying now? They're actually back end to what we want to
okay.
do. Yeah. So now, for example, if we're clicking this slicer, you can see it's affecting only this one. And I said that no, it should not be like that. We want it to ensure that we can actually filter and we can actually see, um, to affect every other thing. So we're going to right click, very simple, click on report connection and come and add all the pivots to this particular slicer, right? And I'll show you the effect. So now, for example, now, so if I click on January, you can see it's affecting all the pivots and even the values because for this furniture now, it's showing only January furniture. For this East, it's showing only January sales value for East. For this product by sale, it's showing only January bouquets and etc. Even for these KPI values, you can see it's showing only January. And if you look at this chart here, it will be showing only January. It will be showing only January, right? So now, for example, now to come again and multi-select and click January and February and March, for example. If you come here, you see that our chart is showing January, February, March. Let's see, change here. It's affected this, it's affected this, right? Do April, do May. Because it will affect the KPIs, right? To affect the values here. To affect all the values here. Because all these KPIs they were referenced from the pivot. And now we have connected this slicer to all the pivots. And that's what we did when we were doing report connection by right clicking. Do you all get that? Now if we are this first thing is to multi-select. This second one is to clear filter. So for clearing filter, it's going to show everything back. That means showing for all the whole month. But if we select only this, there's already a multi select already. Let's clear filter, remove the multi select. If you click only one selection, it will show only this. Can you see? You can see this showing 279,000 ish. So, but if I click on January, February, month select, I see them to change. Like because now it's showing the total sales for January and February. Do you get the idea now? That's multi selection and yeah. So as someone asked, that's the lady was like, "Oh, that's a very curious question. Why are we doing slides? I don't it. Yeah, but well, once the main purpose of what we are doing, even the pivot, even the KPIs, even the chart and dashboard, is actually just chart is to create our dashboard. Yeah, and then that's what we're doing now. And the last thing the last thing I want to do before we go into the dashboard is let's do a slicer for region. Let's do a slicer for region too. So just know that. So so it's region. So this is like what we're going to have, something like this. So don't forget, if I do east only to affect, but which one the region should affect these values too, right? Because people are saying east, right? It should affect the rest too. So we have to ensure that when we have a slicer, you report connection and ensure that all reports are. That's it. How we are noticing that? Let's see. What is that? So that was very interesting stuff. Like, just play it. Now, yeah. So one thing we need to now we're moving into the dashboard, right? So we're actually just preparing a sales dashboard, blah blah blah. Very interesting. So this is what it's going to look like. Let me show you now. So for context, let me clear this first. So there's what we call Pinterest, like this. So Pinterest is just like a normal platform. It's used by designers to just go and check. You just want to see um what you are looking for, somewhere somehow might look like. Yeah. So for example, this is an Excel dashboard. Yeah. But what we are doing here is too basic, right? Because there are still more advanced things I will still teach that will be on how to design all these dashboards, wireframe, using PowerPoint, and you know and all that. Yeah. But this common with class, I want to just look through you guys in this screen and see what happens from the yeah. So this is like what you can see, like for example, I said this is a summary. These are cards. These are um, charts. These are get what I'm saying. And this is also they are dashboard with a couple of pages and design. So just come to Pinterest for colors, and that's where ChatGPT comes in. If you snag this and put it on ChatGPT and ask for what is the color used here, it can give you the color blend which you use while designing, and just have fun. But the colors is not the issue. The issue is that what you are doing must actually work. And that's why we're actually even testing everything. We have tested everything technically even before um, putting them on what we have here. So now, how do we create our dashboard? Basically? So just we are work with something. Let's just work with something simple. Let's work with something simple. So now, what you need to know why designing your dashboard is that okay. How many KPI cards? Okay, one thing about KPI card, this is what I mean for context. Let me show you. This is what we call a KPI card. It's like a summary card. Can now something like this, you can see. Something like this. It's, it's called a KPI card. Can you see? This is called a KPI card. Mhm. This is a KPI card. So all these things are cards. KPI cards. So now we need to know how many cards do we have or do we want to create? How many KPI cards are we working with? Now, for example, here now we're working with 4 KPI cards, right? So how many charts are we working with? One, two, three, four. So we're working with 4 cards, 4 charts, 2 slicers. Are we together now? So now that will just prompt how we design our dashboard in that sense. So let's say we're working on this space for our dashboard. And don't forget, I think by now you should know how to remove grid lines now. There, you can click on view. I can't just, I'm recording, I can't click it here. But when you click on view, you can remove the grid lines. So something like this. So if I click on grid lines and I untick it, you can see I'm not seeing anything again. So let me put it back. When I'm done, we untick it. So it's very neat by then. So it's not like what we have here now. I can remove the grid lines. Yeah, can see monitor. Remove the grid lines. So you click on view, remove grid lines, and yeah. So my our dashboard, we work with simple colors. There's some colors that are not in Excel that when you click on more colors and come to custom here, you type the color code to bring it out. And that's why ChatGPT comes in. If you want to create something very creative and you just looking for a color inspo or stuff like for those of that maybe you have designed before, you will know that there's what we call color codes, right? And it's as a result of color mixing. When we were in primary school, they taught us primary and secondary colors, and you know what I mean. So let us work with something simple. So this is what we'll be working with. We'll be having our KPI cards. So we're having our let's have our slicer here, right? Let's have our slicer here. And another thing I actually wanted us to have here is our um, navigation button. And I'll show you how to do that. So don't panic, just flow. Now, this is so now let me fill this thing. So I'm filling this with should I do black? You can do black, you can do black, you can do black, you can do black. So let's do black. And also ensure that's why if you're not good with colors, ensure you just to be minimalistic. Yeah, minimalistic. Try 2 colors for the room. And it matters. Your color matters. The color blend. Look at all these things. I'm trying to consider this color blend will differentiate. So don't go and be carrying purple and pink and stuff like that. Yeah. So now, so we can actually play with black and blue. Let's see what happens here. So now, let's say we reduce the weight. So this is what we have here. Now, don't forget we're having 4 cards, and for the 4 cards, we we need to actually have a sheet now. So make it very simple now. 4 charts, 4 cards. Don't forget. Now we have our shape here. Let us use for our card. Let us use this. rectangle. So we're having something like this. We're having like four cards. Don't forget. We're having four cards. And for these cards, hope you are still following, Sha. For these cards, right, we we can edit it. That's we can edit the fill and edit the outline. What is the difference between outline and fill? Fill is this color, like this color. The outline is the color of the border, like the borders, the color. So if we're actually using, I want us to just use simple colors, don't worry. Um, there's another blue here. Okay, can I work with white? Don't work with white. Don't work with white. And if we're working with white, let us ensure that all the background. Then this is not a shape. Then let us first start with the fact that let us make this background um this color something like this. Maybe something like this. Don't worry about this. Yeah. Okay. Okay. I'm not using pure white. Try to near something with grayish. Okay, so let's say we have something like this. Right. So like that. So as me I was working with um, my like I'll go and mix the color. And that's what AI is for. Can actually tell you mix this color for. But let us work with this. Now, so if I'm working with this, don't forget I'm coming back here for my border, so that I can actually just so now this one is just basic. Now, so this is what we have. This is what we have. And now what's not what there's still other things we can actually still do to this. Right? But don't worry, just let us have our forecast first. To duplicate, that's Control D is to duplicate. Control D is to duplicate, don't forget that. And just arranging something. So this one is on UI because you have must be straight. Yeah, to just ensure that the cards are on the same line. Yeah, to ensure the cards are on the same line. And you can still change the colors of the cards, that's no problem. So now, don't forget what we need to have. We're having four charts, right? So we have our four cards already. Can we just bring this down a little bit? But we still need to write the name of the dashboard. Yeah, we won't write the name of the dashboard here. So now we want four cards, right?
Like, can I sit? Can you try to like okay, so the data fails, the data is not filled and everything. Do you have a method or like a way of setting KPIs? I'm talking about the type of data. No, sorry, can I speak, please? I never did that. So the feedback is not like
It could be your
feedback
network.
is
No, it's showing. It's showing. It could be your network.
So you see something like this, something like I'll show you, like something like this. So you click on it, you now see something like outline. You have to change it to right to move the border. So the next thing is, don't forget, click on the shape equals to, coming to the KPI card. Okay, so don't forget this. It's area blank. So what do we have here? Average orders, also total orders. So come here, our text, total orders. Come here. So now, like I said, that what I said that everything we have been doing before now is the back end of this dashboard. But we cannot create the dashboard without creating all those things that we created earlier. Oh, I think I used 10.5. So I'm going to remove the outline, very important. So come here, click on this, come and click on KPI for the average discount. You know, the bottom center, click on this, click on the area back. So what's the last one? KPI cards, average discount. So the next thing is yeah, what's the last thing is average discount. Insert text box. So then we have our area black. Okay, come sorry, come So yeah, for this average discount, okay, I have to just so once you move the border, don't forget to yeah. So so we are cool. Just remaining the charts now and the slicer. Right. So we have four charts. Don't forget. Um, just copy the four charts and come and put them on it first. Then we edit it on it. Then we move as fast. Move faster. So just fit it to it first. I'll give you an assignment. I'll send it to the group boys after the class on dashboard. And I want you guys to create something just unique. And I want to see your creativity level too. Because at least you have time to really calm down and just freestyle. So the major thing is understanding the approach. Like you can be very creative to do something very amazing. So let us just bring all the charts on it first. Then come and read the chat on it. Then we'll be having something very amazing. Yeah. Okay. Our fourth chart, please start. Fourth chart is top 10. See, Now you can see it's making sense already. But now let us give it professional touch. So now you click on this. That's the first thing. Okay, let's say first thing when you want to edit your chart is double click on these lines. We need to remove the line. No line. That's the first thing. No line. So we need to remove those lines. Number two, come out and tick all these grid lines, legends, something legend, remove it. Then need the axis, need chart type, all the filters, with I leave this one. So the first thing, remove that's the basic thing now. Remove the line as I just did now. Then come and remove the border and this border. So how do I do that? I double click on the chart go. Yeah, then I come and remove the border line, no line. Then it will now completely sync to the previous background. Can you see what we're having now? To sync to the previous background. Then if using like I said that reason why for this now it's automatically giving us our filter on the month which it work like a slicer sef. From the beginning we have to put our normal filter. So what else? Yeah, come and change this line colors. When you click on this line, click on home here, you can come and change the fill color to something that it's our color. You come and change it here. Come and change it here. Instead of click it, you see, click on come and fill it here. So let's use this color. Let's use this color. So you can also come and change the font of this. You can come and change the font here on the home button. Can reduce it a little bit. Yeah, so it a little bit. You can also, but let's use area. Use it like this. Like this. Now, for the view sales by category, double tap, no line, remove the line. Double tap the chart, come and remove the border. Then click on this total, we don't need it, backspace. Then chart title is important, header is important, axis is important. I don't forget, in primary school we did y-axis and x-axis. So we know the meaning of axis now. This is the y-axis, which is the vertical axis, which is this is the x-axis, which is the horizontal axis. And for those of you that did mathematics, you know that is what we call don't worry. But you understand the meaning of axis, yeah. So that's not a strange word. Um, so come here. What do you use for this? I think you use 10.5. So just make it just more. Yeah, for these colors, you can come and change the full color. Yeah, you can use black. Oh, sorry, this is the border. I mean fill. The fill color here. You can use black or better still, come and use our color here, blue. But no, I made a mistake already by go and changing the border color. So I need to come and adjust it back. Let it just be the same color for yeah. And for this, you tell you maybe you want to put it, you can actually come and do that here. I feel like it's cool without it being bold. So you can unbold it. Yeah. So you can come and add the data label on it like this if you want to. It's also what we can do. So you can look inside this and these are more options. So more options, it's where you can also play around with the label. How to use it? Because label must be really small. If there's a number of lesser than that. Okay. So inside this, inside end. When this inside end is cool, they can actually just change. You change the label color to white. No, yeah, change to. You can just bold it. Because change to white, the one outside the stuff won't reflect. Or can remove it all together.
My boy.
So, yeah. So the same approach we actually using for these other ones, right? So no line, removing this, uh, 10.5. So this top 10, we can also use this same free. I'm not sure this. So in case you want to move the value filters, you can just yeah, but we're not using the filters. No, we're doing top 10 already.
No different. Okay, I don't think there's different.
So,
Yes,
okay.
yes, personal.
So, but it's not a chart, it's more of
I think
a
I can
filter
do
chart. So, yeah, remove this to town. One line, one line. Yeah, so let's come back to this. But don't forget, this, you can still, for bringing this up a little bit, then we can still increase the height of this folder. But, just ensure that, yeah, there's a color used in that, just in case that's a try. So we'll use this to 10.5. So are you guys following me? This, almost done. I'll send you the code. So, anything else? Let's see. Yeah, I'll say something about having our what do I call
Slicer.
it? Yeah,
Slicer.
slicer. Yeah, yeah, putting our slicer. The second thing is the navigation button. But let's do slicers first. So yeah, copy the slicer. Yeah, come and paste it. So do this one. So if you go to slicer settings, you can still go and change the color of the slicer. And disable. I don't know if you want to do that one here because we have both. I feel like the colors we have for the slicer are really nothing for so we have our month slicer here. We have our region here. And something else, let me just show you this now a little bit. So I want to just explain one more thing. Yeah, I think I still need to have one more class on dashboard, but I'll be doing something a little bit more advanced. Um, yeah.
Sorry, can I ask a question?
Yeah, yeah, sure, no problem.
Yeah, I wanted to ask from this slicer now, if I'm just selecting January, February, will it affect
Yeah, sure.
or
See,
the chart as well?
look at it. Look at it. You can see January. You can see it affected everything. When I'm doing January and February, you can see it. Even affecting the total sales and everything. So I'm doing March. You can see the affecting this. It will affect. And that's when I was explaining the initial stages, I connected the pivot right to the KPIs, and we connected the slicers from the pivot, so everything works together, right? So any changes, and we have added all the pivot to these slicers, and I explained how we did that by clicking on right clicking and clicking on report connections to go and tick all the old pivot that we have, right? So any changes, this one is to, for example, this is to clear the filter. It will show everything. This one is to multi-select, but I've unticked multi-select. That's why if I click on January and I want to put in a view by consult I'm saying. If I click on January, you can see that the total sale is 229,770. If I click on only February, you can see it's 303,169.33. If I click on only March, you can see that even the unit sales, the total order, everything will be shown for March. Even the sales by category, it will be shown for only March, and the charts, the cards, and everything. And that's why I explained the pivot, KPI, chart, the three tabs. I was explaining the interconnection and how I linked it. So if I want to multi-select and I click on this one, for example, if I click on January and March only, I'm seeing January and March. This total still is for January and March. January and March and May, because I click on multi-select and January and March and May, same thing. So the same thing, if I'm clicking on this filter too for region, if I'm clicking on only East, I'm seeing only East. Alright. And even this East is still going to, because I linked report connection. This slider is linked to everything. So if I'm clicking on East, Even the total sales I'm seeing here is for only East. So if I'm clicking on East and January, right? So let me move this one to select. Let me clear the filter. If I'm clicking on East and I'm clicking on January, then I'm seeing East and January. That means East region, January sales. This is it. If I multi-select and I click on January and May, so this is January and May total sales, but for East. Units sold January and May for East, and everything is going to respond. And everything is showing on this dashboard is for January and May for East. If I'm switching for East to South, there is showing January and May. These values, total sales, units sold, total orders, is for um you know is for South, right? And January and May. If I'm going to January, May, June, and July, you can see. So that means this total sales is showing for uh, January, May, June, and July. Then for South region, I'm using South and unknown. So I'm clicking. So I want multi-select. That's why I'm clicking on this now. So South and unknown. You can see. You can see it's showing now. So it's showing now. So these values are for South and unknown and January, and so it's just like that. Very easy, technically. Are we together now? Hmm. Okay. We're actually done technically, and I'll also send the recording because I'm recording the class. So I'll send the recording tonight. So what we can just if the business actually has a name or a logo, we can actually put it here. You know, so let me just name it something. So I want to make sure I'm writing something right.
Sorry, Precious.
Yeah,
Sorry, according to your timetable, that means we will not be able to do the data validation tonight and what if analysis.
yeah.
Okay.
But I'll still find time to explain that. Yeah,
Okay.
because I actually want us to enter SQL to, but that will be video recordings technically.
But we can't do SQL this night.
No, tomorrow, tomorrow.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tomorrow, Monday.
Yeah, like I'll send video recordings.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so one more thing I want to just show us is navigation tabs. Cause so for example, now let's say I want to just click the navigation tab for our dashboard here, our clean data, pivot, KPI, and charts. It's like four things. Right. So I want to just show. So first thing is let us measure this. So when we are typing, we fall on everything. Yeah, yeah. So now, faster way to just press Ctrl K. Okay, calculator does not work on Excel, but let us use can just use you just type navigation. Okay. I think we really need it for this. We don't need it for this. Let me just yeah. Okay. We don't need it for this technically. That's why I just so I'll drag my slider down to just make sure we're joining to the same bar.
Sorry, your screen is not showing.
I'm not sure again. I'm coming. Oh, yes. I see now.
Yes, I can see it.
So,
But it's as if it's only you and I that are here.
yeah, I think so. Yeah. So I'm actually done technically. Yeah. So we have our could adjust this time little bit to just ensure that. So I'll send the recording. Yes, as many business has a logo, can just put it here. Can put the logo here. Right. So just like as an image, don't get the logo. Let me check if I can. But for the logo, you still have to remove the background of the logo. Like that's the way you do normal graphic design for logo. Put the logo here, so the logo I've covered here and everything we have just been. Apart from that, let me just merge this. You know, merge everything like this. Talking to the so putting this text to so we're good. We're good. So I'll send the video recording to you. So I think yeah, we're done with today's class. So if you have any questions, just feel free to just chat me about WhatsApp. I'll respond. So
Okay.
yeah, so we are done. I'll be ending the class now.
All right.